Hi guys, welcome to Future Recapped. Today, I am going to explain a sci-fi film called The Giver. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The movie is set in the near future, following a great war called the Ruin. A community in North America that has lived in tranquility without the existence of emotions or color, as these would produce conflicts. The citizens have also had their memories wiped. For the betterment of society, humans are forbidden to lie. Physical desire and reproduction are prohibited, and all humans are now being genetically engineered. Once a person comes into age, he or she will take their assigned place in the community. One day, before the graduation ceremony, 18-year-old Jonas rides his bike with his two best friends, Fiona and Asher, on their way to their last day volunteering at the nurturing center. Unlike his friends, Jonas feels scared and unsure of the path that he's going to be assigned to. He feels different from his friends and sometimes, he sees things like a color that only he can see. They arrive at the nurturing center where Jonas' assigned father also works. His father is currently caring for an uncertain newborn, a baby who hasn't been assigned to their family unit yet. Jonas is concerned since knowing a newborn's name is against the rules, but his father reassures him that the sound of the name calms the baby. As his father explains, Jonas looks over at Fiona and sees a tinge of red in her hair. He dismisses it and they continue with their work. At the end of the day, the trio walks to the fountain and does their little ritual of jumping through the mini waterfall. They talk about their impending graduation, and promise that no matter what roles are assigned to them, they will remain friends. Later that night, Jonas expresses his anxiety during feelings time at dinner, a time when his father, mother, and little sister, Lily, talk about their day. His mother reassures him that the elders are never wrong, and that they have been watching him since Jonas was a new child, so they will pick the perfect role for him. This does nothing to help Jonas's anxiety. The next morning, the day to finally graduate arrives. The chief elder appears as a hologram, and hosts the other graduates join the stage where the elders will now assign them their roles in the community. Fiona is assigned as a nurturer as predicted, while Asher becomes a drone pilot. The elders, however, skip Jonas' number, until all the graduates have left the stage. The elders reassure the audience that this is not a mistake. They carefully chose this time, because they couldn't afford another failure. Because of Jonas' intelligence, integrity, courage, and capacity to see beyond, he is chosen to be the next receiver of memory. After the ceremony, Jonas asks his father what the chief elder meant by can't afford another failure, but his mother shuts down the conversation. In his bedroom, Jonas activates the chip to learn about his new role. As the next receiver of memory, it's his duty to report directly to the current receiver of memory. After his training, he is to return to his dwelling immediately. As of now, he is also exempt from rules governing rudeness and he can ask any question. Aside from his daily injection, he will not take any medication, especially ones that prohibit pain. He may not discuss his training with anyone, and he will be permitted to lie. On his first day of training, Jonas wears his uniform, making him stick out from the rest, and rides his bike all the way to the edge where a house stood. He enters the house and since he is the new receiver of memory, it makes the current one, the giver. The giver sits on his chair, and makes Jonas sit across from him. All the humans in their communities have no memories of the ancient past except for one, the receiver of memory. When the elders need guidance on matters beyond their experience, they go to the receiver of memory who gives them wisdom. Now that Jonas is the new receiver of memory, it's his role as the giver to share this history with him. Jonas spots a mark on the giver's wrist, as he moves closer towards him. The giver sees the same mark on Jonas' wrist, as he takes his hands in his. As their hands close together, Jonas is instantly transported into a new world that he has never seen before. It's very cold and he's surrounded by stuff that you call snow. He spots a sled and takes a ride on it until he stops at the edge of a house where a family is singing a Christmas song. Just then, Jonas is taken back to the giver's room. The giver tells him that he will remember the names and emotions in time. As they walk home, the giver tells Jonas that he will learn that there is so much more to the world they currently live in. In the evening, Mother asks about his training, and notices that there's something different about him. Their conversation is cut short when Father brings Gabriel to the house. He decided to bring him in to help him catch up on his development. Jonas spots the same mark on Gabriel's wrist and knows that this baby will be chosen too. The following day at training, they explore the concept of color. Jonas shares that the first color he saw was red in Fiona's hair while the giver tells him that his first color was yellow. Jonas seeps into the memories again and sees a burst of colors in the sky. He's witnessing what is called a sunset. When he opens his eyes again, he begins to see the colors in the room. The more he learns about the colors, the more he will see them in this world. The elders decided to get rid of colors because it encouraged envy. As Jonas looks out the window, the mist clears up just a little and reveals a tree. They were told that there was nothing beyond the mist, but then again, glared at her and told her that the receiver had a name. When they have their training for the day, the giver then leads him to the basement and shows him a piano. He introduces him to music and the meaning of emotions. He then reveals to Jonas that the morning injections they take remove their ability to feel emotions. He grabs Jonas' hand and transports him into a new memory, this time a medieval wedding full of food, music, and dancing. When he wakes up, Jonas feels a range of emotions he's never felt before. When he goes home after training, he teaches Lily how to dance. His parents see them dancing and look disturbed. A hologram message from the chief elder interrupts their conversation. The rest of the family go out and start their day while Mother remains to talk to the chief elder. The chief elder expresses her concern if Jonas is being trained properly, but he reassures her that she is. He lies to her and tells her that they sit together and talk. As he goes out, he grabs an apple and uses it on the morning injection instead of his arm. When Jonas leaves, the chief elder warns his mother to be more concerned about his son. Over the next few days, the giver teaches Jonas about everything from the ancient world. He shares with him various memories from different people, cultures, and religions. He also tells him about the animals that they used to have. He shows him every global milestone and every important historical event from their past. Jonas feels entranced at what he's learning. Every day that he learns something, the more he wants to learn. He loves the old world, because it feels more complete somehow. At one point, the giver feels Jonas is ready to know pain. He holds his hand during a session and gives him a memory of some poachers killing an elephant. When Jonas wakes up, he finds himself crying. The giver comforts him, reminding him that there are far more painful things to come. Later that night, Jonas can't sleep and instead comforts Gabriel in his cradle. He tells him about the animals and is able to show him by holding his wrist. At this time, Jonas realizes that Gabriel might become the new receiver of memory. He watches Fiona from her window and dreams of her when he sleeps. In his dream, the two of them lock lips together. Jonas tells the giver about his dream, and learns that it's a combination of fantasy and reality. He explains to Jonas that what he feels for Fiona is the beginning of love, but the elders removed love as well as the other emotions. Jonas thinks about this as he rides his love, but their explanations don't help at all. He tucks in Gabriel for the night and tells him that he loves him. He then shares a few happy memories with him, before he goes to sleep. In the middle of a battlefield during a bloody battle, his friend lays next to him, bleeding, but it's too late. Jonas wants nothing to do with these memories anymore. The situation finds him acting peculiar, and watches his friend walk away. Jonas is in a haze as he looks at the children playing, unaware of the pain and loss he's feeling. Fiona approaches him and finally Fiona thinks he's nuts, and insists that he doesn't quit his role. He then tells her to meet up with him tomorrow, at the fountain. Jonas returns to the house at the edge and finds the giver in the basement watching a memory. The giver finally tells Jonas about Rosemary, his daughter, and the memory was too painful for her, and the next day, she went to the elders and asked to be released into Elsewhere. Jonas thinks that it couldn't be too bad if Rosemary was only living in Elsewhere, but the giver gives him a dark look and shows him a hologram video of the people who were released that morning. Jonas looks at the video, and sees his father handling a baby from a set of twins. He takes the baby to a separate room and proceeds to inject it on the head. There can only be one of the same things, and so twins are separated and the other one is released to somewhere else. The giver tells Jonas that the humans don't grasp the concept of death because they have never been introduced to it. In the end, all the young and old people were released to Elsewhere, were being killed by lethal injection. Jonas is furious at the giver, and demands to know why they have never been towards the border. On the other side, at the headquarters, the elders learn about Jonas' plans and arrest the likely still alive, and assign him a secret mission to track him down and get rid of him. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.